Hello, Isaac.
Hello, Frankenstein.
It's creepy Frankenstein Day. Ooh,
It's Weird Wednesdays.
It is.
And you know what that means? We're still trying to force Food Fridays on a Weird Wednesdays.
You are.
Yeah.
I think you need to work on writing a whole new song for it.
What about Wheelie Weird Wednesdays?
Okay.
All right.
I think you were expecting me to argue with you on that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Today's Weird Wednesday is.
I'm gonna argue.
Yeah, I don't like that one. Today's Weird Wednesday is about Frankenstein.
Yeah, Doctor Frankenstein.
Let's play our intro song.
Are we ready to begin?
My name is Misty.
Come on, Ike, it's time. We would be honored if you would join us. The greatest adventure of all time.
We just became best friends.
Yup. Come on, stay together.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Come on!
It is National Frankenstein Day.
And I just learned some disturbing things about Frankenstein.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you learn?
In the Mary Shelley version of Frankenstein, Frankenstein was written by a teenager.
Well,
So-
Mary Shelley was a teenager.
Correct.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff about that, right?
Okay.
Mary Shelley's teenage years were eventful, to say the least. At age 16, she ran away with the poet Percy Bysshe Shelley. Say that 20 times. Over the next 2 years, she gave birth to 2 children.
Yeah.
In 1816, the couple traveled to Switzerland and visited Lord Byron at Villa Diodati. While there, 18-year-old Mary started Frankenstein. It was published in 1818 when she was 20 years old.
Yeah. She wrote it as part of a ghost story competition, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to know how old Percy Bysshe Shelley was.
Well, I mean, this was the 1800s. Like, being married at 16 was not abnormal by any means.
I guess
then.
if life expectancy
Like, that was normal.
If your life expectancy is 40, you kind of got to get going a little earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah. If you weren't married by 16, something's wrong with you.
What happens if you're not married by 42?
Or 45.
Shout out all those people in high school that said they would marry me at 30 if we didn't get married
I'm
yet.
not really that worried about it because I don't really care about getting married one way or another.
Same.
But I'm really glad that I was not like Mary Shelley and got married at 16. I mean, I got married a few years later.
You were just saying she would put it in a ghost story competition.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that is right.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Shelleys visited Switzerland during the year without a summer. The eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia had caused severe climate abnormalities and a lot of rain.
We talked about that in our volcano episode.
We did?
Yep. Sure did.
Huh. Oh, we did.
We did.
Right. I was thinking the Mount Vesuvius episode, which is also volcano.
Pompeii. Yeah.
Right. Stuck inside, the group read ghost stories from the book Phantasmagoriana. Wow, that's a $10 word. It was then that Lord Byron proposed that they have a competition to see who could come up with the best ghost story. Byron, Mary, Percy, or the physician John Polidori.
And it's really interesting that she actually came up with the best against a physician who could really get into the guts of writing about an evil doctor. And she still did better.
Well,
right on Mary Shelley.
He got a close second.
Well, all right.
Because in the end, of
Second
course...
still ain't first.
Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. In the end, of course, Mary won the contest. Neither Byron nor Percy finished a ghost story, although Polidori wrote The Vampire, which later influenced
Dracula.
Bram Stoker while writing Dracula.
Yep. Well, he didn't actually write Dracula. He just wrote The Vampire.
But off this one little tea party, we
He did pretty good.
We got Frankenstein and Dracula out of one party. That's pretty crazy.
And The Vampire itself has become a very, very popular book as well.
Yeah.
Well, here's one thing that a lot of people mistake.
Okay.
Frankenstein wasn't evil. He actually died in the story trying to kill the monster he created.
Right.
His intent in creating this thing was not to create a monster. It was to see if he could bring life back to something.
Right.
And it just so happened that when he brought that life back, it was evil, and he died trying to kill it.
So
he wasn't. It's not Frank. People think Frankenstein was like the evil monster, right? He's not.
Now, help me get something straight.
Yeah.
The doctor's name is Frankenstein.
Dr. Frankenstein.
What's the monster's name? Because everybody calls the monster Frankenstein.
Well, so the doctor is Victor Frankenstein. Yeah. And then, look it up. I don't remember the actual proper name of the monster. I know his assistant was Igor.
Yeah. He does call himself, when speaking to his creator, Victor Frankenstein, Adam of your labors. He is also variously referred to as creature, fiend, the demon, wretch, devil, thing, being, and ogre in the novel.
Yeah. Creature is the one that sticks out to me as what I remember him being called.
Yeah, but people for Halloween they dress up like Frankenstein and they do the big dummy, but the doctor was Frankenstein.
Right.
People get it wrong all the time.
Yeah. They just don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. So the Frankenstein castle is real.
Indeed.
So she had been to a castle and got the inspiration while they were on their way to this place that they went to. It was a castle in Hesse, Germany. It is located 1,210 feet on the Odenwald mountain range. And it was somewhere that they stayed on their way.
Whoa. No, sorry. Whoa to this.
Okay.
So, I think we mentioned earlier that she got the idea in a dream.
Yeah.
But only one of her 4 children lived to adulthood.
Oh.
So she had given birth, and the baby only made it 6 weeks. And soon after the baby died, she wrote in her journal that she dreamt that my little baby came to life again, and then it had only been cold, and that we rubbed it by the fire, and it lived. I awake and find no baby, and think about the little thing all day.
Oh, man.
So when this doctor's trying to bring this monster back to life, it's her bringing her dead kid back to life.
Oh, man. Mary Shelley. That just makes me want to give her a hug.
I wish I had scrolled down a little further. Frankenstein was the name of the scientist, not the monster. In the novel, Victor Frankenstein is the scientist. The monster remained unnamed and is referred to as monster, creature, demon, and it. But if you've made the mistake of calling the monster Frankenstein, you're not alone. Mm-hmm. Everyone from the Reef novelist Edith Wharton to the writers of the movie Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein has done it.
Yep. Well, the name Frankenstein comes from 2 German words. The first is Frank, which is the name of a
delicious hot dog
Germanic tribe. The second word is Stein, which means stone.
Holder of beer.
Both those things are correct.
Hot dog holder of beer.
Hot dog holder of beer. That's Frankenstein.
That's
a great story too. I mean,
the holder of beer story.
Yeah.
Ben Stein.
The literal translation of this comes to Stone of the Franks. In fact, Frankenstein is actually an ordinary name for a castle in the region, which we just talked about.
A lot of people, this isn't going to shock anybody, but a lot of people thought her husband, Percy Shelley, wrote the book.
Of course, because a woman could never do something so great and creative.
Well, there are reasons. Frankenstein was first published anonymously.
Because women weren't supposed
right.
to. Yes, absolutely.
It was dedicated to William Godwin, Mary's father, and Percy Shelley wrote the preface. Because of these connections, many assumed that Percy Shelley was the author. This myth continued even after Frankenstein was reprinted in Mary's name. In fact, some people are still arguing that Percy authored the book. While he edited the book and encouraged Mary to expand the story into a novel, actual authorship is a stretch.
Yeah.
Now, let's not downplay the role of editors, but let's also give credit where credit is due. She wrote that story.
She wrote that story.
He wrote the foreword, the
yes.
preface.
The preface. Have you ever seen the movie Big Eyes?
Does it have a preface?
It's essentially based on the same thing. There is an artist who is known for these.
Oh, I have seen that. Yes,
and
yes.
For years, she let everyone believe that it was her husband.
Yeah.
because it was impossible as a woman to get that art viewed in the same way that they would view it if they knew a man did it. So it's an incredible movie if you haven't seen it. Frankenstein is actually based on a real scientist.
Ooh, say more.
So it was, so she went to that castle, like on their way to the place that they went. And there was an occupant that was there in the castle also staying, named Johann Conrad Dippel.
Sebastian Bach.
So Dippel was a scientist who was a seeker of unusual medical experience.
Dippel.
Dippel. Dippel supposedly made an elixir of life from animal oil. So apart from alchemy, he also performed anatomical experiments by digging up dead bodies and giving them life through artificial methods.
You're a weirdo.
Yep.
Hey,
Sure
Misty,
is.
can I dig up all your dead animals?
Nope.
Play around with them for a little bit?
This isn't Pet Cemetery, MFer.
It's for science.
Nope. I have seen Pet Cemetery. Bad shit happens when you dig up the dead. Yep. So yeah, real guy staying in that castle, the Frankenstein castle. So like, you know, it may have come to her in a dream, but there was a whole lot of things that happened on her way to wherever she wrote this book.
Wow. You know who the first person, I don't know if it's the first person, but you know who it seems like the first person to adapt the story for film is? Thomas Edison.
What? Thomas Edison made movies?
He adapted the story for film. It says here in 1910, Thomas Edison made a one-reel 15-minute film of Frankenstein, one of the first horror movies ever made. It was thought lost until it was rediscovered in the 1950s. Watch it above on YouTube.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then they're saying above here, Frankenstein was considered the first science fiction novel.
That's interesting because we did an episode about H.G. Wells, and they talked about how he was actually the first person to write the science. Oh, no, Edgar Allan Poe. That's who it was. They said that he was the first one to like coin that genre.
Yeah.
So tell me about this.
In penning her graphic novel, Shelley was writing the first major science fiction novel as well as inventing the concept of the mad scientist and helping establish what would become horror fiction. Mm-hmm. The influence of the book in popular culture is so huge that the term Frankenstein has entered common speech to mean something unnatural and horrendous. Mary went on to write other science fiction, such as her 1826 short Roger Dodsworth, The Reanimated Englishman. She really liked bringing people back to life. About a man who has been frozen in ice. And her novel, The Last Man, about a survivor in a world destroyed by plague. I'm not reading that one this year.
Let's not.
She wrote those in the same year.
Oof.
1826. When was Edgar Allan Poe around?
After that.
Okay, so she wins.
Yeah, she
Let's
wins.
give it to the lady.
Yeah. The full name of the book is Frankenstein, the Modern Prometheus.
Right.
A whole lot of people don't know that. They just think it's Frankenstein.
They must have tuned out earlier in the episode when we mentioned that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
now you know how I feel when I'm like, you say like the roses were pink in the garden, and I'm like, hey,
the
says
roses
here,
are pink in
the
garden. Did you explain who Prometheus was?
I did not.
Okay. So, according to Greek legend, Prometheus was a deity who could create a human from clay. So, Frankenstein, the modern Prometheus, means a Doctor Frankenstein who could create a human from bits and pieces.
I was hoping to get a number of movies made about Frankenstein, but
I feel like there were a lot.
it doesn't come up quickly.
Yeah. Okay, fair. Well, I mean, we're at 15 minutes. So, yeah. We learned a whole lot of stuff about Frankenstein.
It says there's only 2 movies about
That
Frankenstein.
is not true.
That's incorrect.
Incorrect,
Google.
Internet. Incorrect.
Well, we really Frankenstein this episode together, didn't we?
That's pretty good, actually. I like that. I learned a whole lot. I did not know a lot of that.
Tomorrow
Tomorrow.
is Food Fridays.
No.
What day is it?
Tomorrow is Thursday.
Oh, it's Weird Wednesdays. So tomorrow's Thirsty Thursdays.
Or Dr. Death.
Ooh,
Thursday.
More doctors.
Dr. Death Thursday.
The podcast?
Also the TV show.
Right. Right. Which came first?
The podcast. The
Oh.
TV show is based on the podcast.
Cool.
But what came first was the real guy that did it.
The real guy.
Because it's based on a real story.
It's about a real guy.
It's about a real guy who makes death.
One real guy.
He's a doctor.
Two real people.
Death.
Talking about one real guy.
About death.
This Thursday, Misty and Ike discover
Doctor Death. That was pretty good.
two podcasters, one doctor.
Of death.
How long can we keep this up?
Death. I think that's long enough.
Death
Death.
on Misty and Ike.
Halloween week.
Now with more Misty.
With more death.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
Bye.